NUCL is just about to wrap up. It is currently 6-4. So this could go to a tiebreaker, but I wanted to cover these Scarlet and Violet games that have been played since all of them have actually already been played, which pretty convenient. We got some very nice ones today. I'm gonna start off with this absolute heater of a game because what in the hell did Team Limit bring? I have no clue what's going on here, but what I do have a clue on is that you should go subscribe. Gonna hit 10K by the end of the year, man, but I want you to join along for the ride. I appreciate all y'all too that wished me happy birthday yesterday. Very, very thoughtful of you. And I appreciate all y'all that, been around since we started, especially since we came back. Keep in mind, it's been about like a year and a month since I came back from a months-long hiatus. I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling ready for the grind. So hey, let's keep growing this community. So, like I said, game one, what is this? It's not even like he didn't bring mostly NU mons. I mean, Flygon, Registeel, Legion, these are some of NU's best mons. Screamtail at least is tiered NU, it's just, there's a Muck and a Morpeko, and then for some reason, when you put these 6 together, this team just doesn't look like it should exist. It's one of those weird cases where you could put together a team of all mons from one tier even, and it still doesn't look like a team from that tier. This is kind of like that case, even though there are some outliers naturally. But it's not even like the team is bad in this matchup. Basket Legion obliterates the team Mence brought. And Legion is disgustingly good here because, keep in mind, that's how it's going to play out. This is HO from Mence. Lucario not only gets checked by Basket Legion very, very effortlessly, but smashed by Wave Crash. Flygon, it's not going to be Scarf on this team, so smashed by Wave. Salazzle's like the one maybe question mark because it could be Focus Sash. But, I mean, I'm going to flip turn on you, and then I'm going to KO you the next turn. Delphox is killed by Wave Crash from full, even with a defensive Terra, unless it's grass or water or some other water resistance. Frostlass will be dead by turn like 5, and then the Tatsugiri, this mon's whole goal on HO is most of the time to go for Memento. I mean, obviously, you try to preserve it more in this kind of matchup, but still, I mean, I don't know how you beat the Legion in this game. I'm looking at what Mence has. His best option for trying to do much of anything is going to be his own Flygon. Hope that you can get a good DD going. Maybe the Legion gets somehow sacked to the Lucario on a Crunch or Shadow Claw. It's kind of tough. So we're going to see Morpeko led versus the Frostlass. And I remember watching this, getting ready for the recording, and I was just like, wow. You're ready to see rent-free? This Morpeko lives rent-free in this Frostlass's head. Look at this incredible exchange, right, real quick. Like, I have never seen a more effortless denial of all hazard. We don't even see Mence try to pivot in Lucario on, like, the knock to get a justified boost or something. Probably was inner focus anyway, but we don't obviously Luke try to pivot in to preserve the last. No, we just straight up sack the last, lose our hazard, and he's Jover. And now I think Mence does get a little bit, get a little happy. And I get it, too, because he wants to try to catch that Legion if he can, because, again, it gives him so much issue this game. Only problem is he just ends up giving it HP on the Lucario, because, of course, Linnet is never going to, he's never going to switch. The Morpeko's done what he did to. It got a spin-off, and we're good. So now, of course, we do see the Tatsugiri attacks. Every time this Legion comes in, this is what you have to use as your response. It works out very well here for Mence because, hey, Tatsu got that special attack boost, and since Screamtail is disgustingly weak, Gleam doesn't even really meaningfully threaten it, so he gets double boosts. And then comes out the Flygon just for a bit. Did I say Firmp? Wow. I've had people question me calling it Fimp before. First impression's too long, so I don't feel like saying that. But Firmp, that one I will give you. That shouldn't be said. Regardless, the Banded Flygon came out, took the Tatsugiri out. Personally, I probably would have switched, just in case. Like, scout it, maybe sack the Luke. The Lucario's not really ever doing anything in this game anyway, but it is what it is. So the Legion's out now, and the Legion will win this game. Because there is nothing Mence can do about this. There's no water resistance anywhere to be had. The Muck comes out. I still don't know what this Muck set is, because it got two-shot. Didn't reveal an item of any kind. I don't know what happened there. But now the Basket Legion is in. Wave Crash will one-shot literally Mence's entire team. And it's just wraps, man. That's the Legion. I think this Mon you could make a strong argument that Basque Legion is broken right now. I think there are some noted things that hold it back, which is why I wouldn't call it broken. I mean, broken's such a bad word anyway. I think you could argue that it is worth discussing for a ban. How about that? Because water checks in this tier are so shaky. And Scarf Legion is stronger than Specs Inteleon, if I'm remembering correct. Pre-Terrastalize, at least. Which is kind of vile. Now, again, when we talk about like things that limit it, well, hey, there's still checks, right? Like Vile Plume, bulkier variants of Serena. You can Terrastalize a Glowbro. Terra Water is really good on it right now, and then you're just checking it forever. Water Tauros is a really good check as well. And then the whole issue, I mean, this game, you know, when we were watching the Kyo game from, I don't think yesterday, 2 days ago, where entry hazards even can just limit it, especially in conjunction with Wave Crash. But hey, I think you can still make the case that it could get banned. I just want to throw it out there. Anyhow, this game, when I was prepping to record it, I had to check like multiple times over on the last tour video we did to make sure that I hadn't already recorded this game because it just looked similar to me. I think I confused having already recorded it with having already watched it because, I mean, I guess I caught this game when it was happening, or I watched the replay when it was posted, something like that. But as we look at the teams here, we have a very, 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 very standard build from Liru over here. You got like, if I'm just looking at this team, my guess on the sets, right? Scarf Flygon, standard Registeel, probably a more offensive Serena on this build, just to give you a little bit more oomph. Standard Thundurus or Nasty. It could be a lot of Thundurus sets, admittedly. I wouldn't go out on a limb and say Nasty Plot Thundy. I just don't think this build really supports it all that well. Because, like, I don't know what breaks for Plot Thundurus. What really does much setup for Plot Thunder. So if anything, I'd guess more of those pivot sets. And even be Acro. Because we have the Scrafty here. If it's Bulk Up Scrafty, even DD Scrafty, but particularly Bulk Up, that's going to struggle with Vile Plume a lot. So maybe you want Acrobatics Thundurus as a bit of a Plume lure. So there's that for you. You can even be specially offensive Thundurus with Psychic if you wanted to lure it, but either set would work. And then Glowbro, just Fizdef stuff. And then over here on 3D side, you've got, you know, Scarf Legion, probably also a Pivot Thundurus set, standard Alola Slash, standard Florges, just, you know, Fizdef, Spiking Gligar, and then, like, set up Glowbro. And we're looking for threats here. I mean, it's kind of tough. I don't feel like either team has one mon that I'm like, oh, wow, this can't stop it. Scrafty's the closest thing to it from Liru's side versus 3D. Because once it Terrastalizes, depending on Florges' set, it might not even be able to beat it. Or it might just be forced to try and stall it for eons, and then, you know, eventually seed a free switch into, like, Registeel, maybe. I think Liru can generally dictate the pace of the game with his team a little bit more effectively than 3D can. The Legion's, like, the closest thing to a huge threat from 3D side, and even then, you have Serena. Like I said, I would probably be more offensive on this team, so you can get by it more easily because it's going to take more damage, not going to have Synthesis. Glowbro, we talked about, it would have to dedicate a Terra, and I don't think you're going to dedicate Terrastalizing on Glowbro with this build. But maybe you do. So, Thunder Sled. Scrafty's the lead from Liru. Very aggressive stay in turn 1, disrespecting the possibility of Acro. And as you see here, when you knock and there's no item, you know there's an Acro lurking in the back. So the Glowbro does come out, not wanting to get absolutely blasted there, as the Thundurus will knock the helmet. U-turn that Gligar, and then now it's time for some Spikes. I lied. It's time for a U-turn. But Spikes would have worked too. You could have spiked up as the Serena came in. You got a Glowbro of your own. You don't really care about it. And now there, look at that. Now Gligar comes in. Now it's time for some Spikes, right? Come on, guys. There we are. There's the Spikes. But yeah, this is kind of matchup where I think you're always pretty safe to go for your hazards with the Gligar. You just go Glowbro every turn. And you say, alright, do something about it. So now we see the issue of Scrafty, because the Terra Poison means the Acro from Thundurus still does a lot, but not enough to really threaten it. And Florges, you better be Terra Blast Ground if you want to actually, like, beat Scrafty one-on-one. Instead, it's Chilling Water, which is actually also pretty good at limiting the Scrafty here. You're going to see it not really do enough damage to where the Florges cares all that much. The only problem is going to be if this is Calm Mind Florges last, Maybe you get limited on your synthesis power points. That could kind of get annoying. And overall, the Scrafty is pretty content to just take a few turns trading damage, forcing Florgus to waste its power points. So, generally decent string of events for Liru there, as he eventually gets a rapid spin off on this Globra, like we said would happen. And the Globra, though, is always able to come out, get a little bit of chip on the Reggie with Flamethrower, just largely inconsequential, though. You're mostly just hoping that you get like literally any passive damage that you can throughout the course of the battle as a means of limiting it. Now we see a very nice U-turn there from 3D, getting momentum back into his favor, bringing that Globra right back on out, and Registeel does come in again. Still taking very, very little, though, from these flamethrowers. I would look to see eventually 3D force the issue with the Globra, as we see Heavy Slam doing 10 is just so depressing. But like I said, I would look for this Globra to just try and force the issue with the setup. Because do we really think Flygon is a revenge killer to this mon? Not really. Especially with Terra still available, right? So now Gligar gets some EQ chip off of the Globra, which I think is fine here. You don't necessarily need Gligar this game. You still want it because it helps push back on the Flygon, but it's okay if Gligar goes down. Also helps check the Thundurus. Now we see the Globra finally look for some setup, and it's actually Calm Mind instead of the more standard Nasty Plot. And here we see Scrafty Terastallizing actually coming back to bite in the ass, because there's not really much that checks setup Globro. Like, once the Scrafty Terras, the Globra is actually, like, far more problematic. So, we'll see how much work can actually do. Thundurus comes out, knocks off the Sand Slash. This is just generally useful long-term. Even helps the Serena potentially do something, but certainly will help the Thundurus long-term more than anything. You're just trying to get those little bits of progress made, so that eventually you can just Acro or T-Bolt or what have you late game through the rest of 3D's team. And we see now the Gligar gets traded down on. Legion is here, though, now. And Legion says, it is time. Registeel, 46 from a Wave Crash. How you feel about that, friend? Easily two-shot by the Basculegion. Now, we'll see the Serena come out. And 58%, out of Wave Crash range for sure. I'll switch now. Would have been crazy if he stayed and Wave Crashed on the spin, though. Whew! That might have been enough to get him back in the game. Unfortunately, it's not. I have no clue if that was covering the screen there. My bad. But now the Legion's back in once again after a Globro sack, and it is time to spam these Wave Crashes. Look at the damage. It just took 50. Oh my god, this mod is disgusting. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Good pivot in there as well, bringing the Sand Slash on the Dragon Claw. Now he's just gonna go for some little chip. I'm gonna be honest. It is like the saddest exchange I've ever seen. It's so pathetic. The damage is just not there. Poor guy. I'm gonna skip through some of these turns here because it's literally just Icicle Crash until it eventually dies. The Psychic there takes. I did get rocks. They're not that important, but they're there. As Terra steals here on the Globro, knowing a Psychic or a Toxic could come out here. It doesn't matter because you don't outtrade it, but you did get the prediction correct, so you've won the mental game. And Legion will come back out now. Flygon's going to eat a flip turn up like a boss. Florgus has to come out here, and Globro can always come out on this after a U-turn very, very, very easily. And the Florgus has like nothing really that it's going to do. Even forced into synthesizing there, which is generally better for the Globro. I think maybe if they went for Chilling Water, it could have been a little annoying, actually. So now Legion's back in after getting Toxic, though, which is devastating because now the Mon obviously has nothing it can do. It's just going to get weakened down. The U-turn, even being enough to kill it there, means now when this Florgus comes out, it's just going to get Toxic immediately. Even with Calm Mind, it's not going to be able to actually get by Globro. And Liru will be able to finish off this game. As we see here, there's the Toxic, and then yeah, it's going to keep boosting, but yeah, that's how much +4 Chilling Water does. It's not even a 2-shot, so it's just Jover. It's a wrap. No, game 3. And no, I don't fool you this time with a random Sun and Moon and you game thrown in there. I'm so sorry. Soon, though. Soon. Now we get Floss versus T. Nunez, and we see once again like this same Palmot, Dragalge, Mudsdale, Serena plus Steel type plus Lastmon type of structure. Much different team though than the previous ones. I will warn you of that. The sets are just not the same. And from preview, I look at this Dragalge and then I look at Floss's team and I say, wow, hey look, it's a team that doesn't have a Steel type and instead considers Diancie one. So Dragalge looks incredible here. Lives rent-free in the head of this team because there's really nothing that checks it too well. I mean, Diancie is still a fine check, it's just you take so much from Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave that you're not winning the exchange. Inteleon's at least checked by Galge. The Serena can be checked by Dragalge, depending on the variant. If Serena's got Axel, then a little bit more up in the air, but if it doesn't, then it's just free real estate for the Dragalge. It just looks generally really, really strong scheme. Even Glowbro can be checked by Dragalge. We've seen more Glowbro running Psychic moves lately, I believe, in part because Dragalge is such a problem. Well, it even helps in the mirror matchup, though. You know, immediate stab on a move for opposing Glowbro is better than having to use a Flamethrower or a Surf. It is a non-stab. But Dragalge can easily just decimate Floss's build. But let's look at Floss's team into T. Nunez's. The Inteleon actually looks like really, really strong here. Because Horus is obviously not really stopping it unless it terastallizes. Dragalge, we've seen Ice Beam does 1,000,000 too. Serena's getting popped by it. And it outspeeds everything on this build naturally. Which also lets you kind of know immediately this has to be a Choice Scarf Palmot. Because are we relying on T-Wave Klefki as your speed control and nothing else? Like, it could be Scarf Delphox, technically, but it's just not a set that gets usage, so I would never bank on it. Palmot with a Scarf is, like, actually seeing usage. Not a lot of it, but enough use. Well, nah. I actually think it's seen a decent amount of usage over the past few videos we've done, so I can't really even say that. But, all in all, still, I would actually say Inteleon's a pretty good mon here. And then, of course, you're looking at rest of the build. It's probably going to be like a Scarf Flamigo. It could be, as well, since this team is actually very similar to the Salicberry Flamigo one that we did a vid on a little bit ago. Technically, it could be that set, but I'm almost going to assume Scarf here, Specs here, and then, like, DD Flygon. So, between Migo maybe weakening the Mudsdale into leading to a DD Flygon, maybe that's the route we see Floss take to win this game. Anyhow, here's a Mudsdale led versus a Diancie. That's really nice. Because we can always get rocks up here. And then T. Nunez makes a nice play here, knowing either a spin or some non-power-up move would be coming out. Just stays in, decides, hey, I like body press. And he ends up getting a very nice trade out of this too, because Serena's not going to be able to like immediately beat down Horse. So he's able to just get a few body presses off, get at least some chip. Dragalge now comes out here. Synthesis, you know, this is fine for you, right? Because now you get a free turn to attack. And we see what I was talking about at preview here, where Diancie is a check. It's just not the most convincing of them, because when you have this sequence play out, where you have to switch in to an attack, you're not able to beat Dragalge one-on-one. If it was the ideal 1v1, where they each enter the field at the same time, yeah, Diancie's Diamond Storms would have prevailed. But that's not the world we live in. So Dragalge claims one. Now Mudsdale can be sacked. We see these Earthquakes do just enough. And T. Nunez did violate one of my principles of building, which is he doesn't have a ground type immunity. So, there you go. Serena can't come out though there. Knock the Glowbro, do quite a lot too. Very nice chip. As a Glowbro will throw off a Psyshock. Does nothing to this Fox. And Inteleon pivot here is just dastardly. Just got blown up by Psychic. So yeah, all that I said about Inteleon being a threat this game, well, not all of it, but a lot of that, just retract it. It does get pushed into torrent range though, so the Serena was actually forced out because of a potential 2-shot, which is disgusting. So the Palmot now comes in, goes for a knock. Unfortunately, this does give Glowbro free entry, and a nice double switch from Floss, allowing him to retain very nice 1v1s. The keys now, Henry versus Amigo, so Inteleon's always going to come out here. Or, Inteleon's always going to, let me slow down, getting caught up. Inteleon came out here because the obvious switch into keys would be Glowbro. That's like the best one. Glober or even Serena. One of these two could both come in. Maybe go Glober, looking to then switch out again to get some Regenerator. So Inteleon comes in because Delphox beats up either of those. You want to get some free turns to wall break. You're still potentially able to get a spin with your Serena later anyway. And then, you know, keep this mon around to wall break. So there you go. There's something more insightful. So Inteleon surfs there, gets the KO. And again, we still know Scarf Palm Up, but maybe Floss didn't because he stays in and lets it die. He also might have just not thought he would be able to get a rapid spin off and actually then keep the hazards away. One of those two. And we do see the spin come afterwards. And now we'll see the typical Serena trade that we've talked about a ton, where Serena just decides to beat the living piss out of Klefki. I would have whipped there instead of gone for a spin immediately. You could just spin the next turn anyway, and it's fine. But it is what it is. Having double speed boost is actually still fine, though. As we're going to see this keep taking some play routes. Again, you can synthesis up here. We now have the full set confirmed. I'm guessing this lives a knock with how it was played. Or, yeah, Terra Fairy works too. And no, it did not live a knock without the Terra. So there you go. Probably could have, they didn't Terra yet, right? I just want to check this to confirm. Yeah, they hadn't. I think if this was Terra Dragon, I think you'd always Terrastalize there and you just whip. Yeah, you would have just whipped there if you could have, if you were gonna be a resistant to fire Terra type. It would have been pretty good. When the Palmok comes in, actually lives a Brave Bird from Flamingo, which is truly, truly despicable. And this is incredible because it gives them the Revival Blessing. And getting Horseback's actually kind of good. Because Horse now is going to be able to keep this Flygon a little bit more contained. It can even keep the Glowbro in check as well, because now you can just EQ this. You go for a Rock instead, but I mean, that's fine too. Flamigo now is even more pressured. And yeah, bringing back Horse was super useful. You put Glowbro in range of Palmod. So now we're going to see the CC come out. Even if they got on Flamigo, this would have been in KO range based on the damage from earlier, where it's 38. And the Flygon comes out. It is outsped. I think this wasn't Scarf based on just the composition of the team, but it wouldn't have been able to DD either, just because it would have still been outsped. And now Delphox is going to be able to come out, and unfortunately, it just dies. Yeah, I mean, all that build up for the Revival Blessing not matter, but it was still a really well-timed one. And Floss able to prevail at the end with his Flamigo. And now, our final battle. Shoutouts Wadley, by the way. He did win the NU Circuit playoffs, which I haven't covered yet. So I probably should do that soon, but... yeah, I mean, some people are going to be upset that I spoiled that Wadley won that. But don't worry, when I make the video, I won't say who won until the end. It is Wadley, the NU Circuit champion for 2023. MJ, nice dude, good user. Let's give a clap to MJ. Unfortunate that you're naming yourself after that, that bald gambling steroid user. But it's okay. My hate knows no limits. But as we look at preview here, I remember looking at preview, I think Chandelure is like actually really scary here. The set Wadley ends up using too. I'm not gonna spoil that yet. Definitely like ultra scary. Not unbeatable, but actually really, really cool to see in this type of battle. I should have talked about it in my video yesterday. But I really like the Chandelure here. There's no, I was gonna say there's no ghost resist, but there is one. It's a Staraptor. And generally, you're looking at like Chandelure. If it's specs, well, your Fire Blast is actually just really, really free here, because Dawn isn't going to hold up so well versus that. And then if you're not choiced, oh, okay, I don't care if the Dawn comes in, man. I'm going to Fire Blast and I'll Energy Ball the next turn. Get every 50-50 right, bro. So I really like Chandelure out of Wadley's side. Even Inteleon is like okay here, but it's not as good as it was in the last game, because this team just has more mons that could outspeed it. You got like the Scarf Raptor, you got Keys with just annoying T-Wave stuff. Rhydon could easily be a Terror type that helps you versus Inteleon. Serena's a resistance. This mon will quiver and just be faster. And then Tauros, now this is the interesting thing, since this is potentially a Scarf Raptor, the Tauros isn't likely to be Scarf. Now, it could be Scarf on this end and this is like Banded, but we've really only seen Scarf Staraptors, so this would maybe be Bulk Up or Banded, which both of those Inteleon will outspeed, but they'll still check it, still tank like one Surf or Hydro Pump okay enough. But the mon I actually really like for MJ's side is the Oricorio. Just from preview sake, I like Oricorio here. There's no Ghost Resist, and Weakening Caparaja is pretty feasible this game because you've got both Serena and Staraptor. And even, I'll throw Klefki in there as a mon that could weaken the Raj. I mean, hey, maybe it switches in and takes some play rough chip. You know, maybe get a T-Wave off on it. There's actually ways to get that mon weakened pretty easily. And then it's going to be Wadley relying very, very heavily on the horse, which all it's going to be able to do is roar or maybe have heavy slam, but hey, there's like one of the few matchups I see where I'm like, damn, Oricorio Sensu is really hard to deal with. Because he has Mudsdale led with versus the Tauros. And yeah, so this battle gets really kind of cringe for MJ, for Wadley quickly, because it just throws up a substitute. Because we didn't see the CC come out. Doesn't do too much to this arena, which I think says this has a little bit more bulk than normal. I don't think it's fully offensive because I'm pretty sure it gets 2-shot by CC. And seeing Synthesis kind of confirms that in my mind. And in here we see the Terra Steel into the bulk up, which I'm a little surprised he didn't go for immediately. But I think he wanted to see how content Wadley was to just stay in and keep trading versus the Tauros at first. So he's going to be able to Raging Bull the Mudsdale. Unfortunately, since he's not bulk up with Wave Crash, he doesn't one-shot the Muds. I'm actually pretty certain this had just been Wave Crash. He gets 2 KOs. Because this would have died. And then Flamigo probably would have had to be the response. And it would have CC'd to break the sub. And it would have died. So, a little unfortunate. Then this arena comes out, goes for triple axle, which is just so funny to me. Because we see how little this is doing because of stamina. I think it does 6 into 8 into 10. I would have just whipped. But sure. Sure, why not? Dawn comes on a flamethrower. Good double switch here too by MJ to make sure that you scout out for non-choiced. Seeing this kind of team, you definitely have to assume this Shandy isn't going to be choice locked. Here's Dean Toms on the Raging Bull. And then Keys is, I guess, our Inteleon check here. Nice 74. But then this is going to be able to come in because once again, we always talk about how Serena, pretty nice trades you get versus the Keys. Knocks immediately into Oricorio. Now I remember watching this. Here, I power whip always, by the way. And it would have worked. But also, these mons are like, a lot of the time, max HP. I'm gonna be honest. We know this is a bulkier Serena. You ain't dying to no Hurricane or Air Slash. Come on. Anyhow, we get the same sequence now. It knocks the Oricorio. This time, though, you're doing a lot less. You're doing a lot less. You already got them boots gone. And now it's unfortunate you didn't power up earlier because this trade is far less pleasant to take. And the power won't even actually do, like, really much more damage than knock, as I think about it more. Actually, no, it will. 65 times 2, power whip with stab. And actually, if anything, I'm more surprised he's not going for a whip. The whole point is, of course, just that he's trying to keep this low. But hey, just get rid of the mon. You know, why not? But it ends up working out for him just fine. Eventually, MJ felt pressure to Hurricane. And yeah, that's mostly what Wadley was playing to anyway. So now the Flamingo comes in. Tanks the CC pretty well from the Tauros. And now the Dawn is going to be the sack because really there's not much reason to preserve this. I will say, I didn't even note this from preview. This team has no check to Flamigo. I should have... I was talking about Chandelure is a good mon. Flamigo is an incredible mon here. The check to Flamigo is outspeeding it with Staraptor if you're Scarf. Or T-waving it with Klefki. Because this is the annoying thing about facing Flamigo, right? You can have a Chandelure or an Oricorio Ghost and feel okay into some other fighting types because you'll just argue in your own head, well, hey, I've got at least something that can pivot on the CC. That's okay. Flamigo's got Scrappy. That doesn't work like that anymore. Like, you know, you can have Serena and feel okay versus Water Tauros. No, you know, it just, I don't know. But we do see, let's talk about there. Raptors, the offensive check. I would have 100% thrown out my Caparaja there. Presumably, they are predicting a CC, but I think with how difficult Flamigo is for this team to beat, I don't know. I think it's always going to try and predict Caparaja, or it's not going to try to predict it. Yeah, it won't try to predict the Raj. That's the problem. So yeah, Now the Shandy comes in though, and we do have that confirmation here that it is very, very boots. And there we see Terra Grass Flame Charge. Yeah, this is the set I wanted to talk about in my video yesterday that I just neglected to. We've seen a couple people talk about these non-choice Shandy sets, like non-scarf sets that want to try and do something with speed. So we've seen some people talk about offensive Trick Room on Shandy. It's not the slowest mon, but 148 speed, that's generally going to let you outspeed most of NU under Trick Room. The Flame Charge is another cool option. So, there's that. Unfortunately, it's forced out immediately because of this. But, you know, you see that could be really cool. As Drina comes out, once again risks the keys, spins away all these hazards, which really doesn't do much of anything, I'm gonna be honest with you. Really doesn't at all. And then Shandy just dies in 2 hits to CC. Very, very, very depressingly. You know, my screen chandelier. Could have done so much more this game, man. So much more. And yep, and then Wadley forfeits because the Taurus was just gonna win. Serena was too low. And the Copper Raja was not going to live a CC. But yeah, these should be the final Scarlet and Violet NU games of this tournament. Unless the series goes to a tiebreak, we'll get one more. Maybe I'll cover it if it's a good game. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. Shoutouts to all the winners here today. You played well. And all the losers, y'all played well too. These were all incredibly close games. Outside of game 1, really. And okay, this game wasn't super close either. But it still felt closer, I feel, than it maybe was based on the last Mons. I feel like Wadley had, I think he just didn't play to the out with Flamigo as well as he should have. But that's okay. Like this game though, this was a really good one. This game was also a really good one. And this game was just fun. Because again, it just showcases how strong the Legion can be. Thanks for watching though. Thanks for subscribing if you are subscribed. Thanks for joining as a member as well if you're a member. Since I'm back from vacation, I'm going to try to get out more members videos for y'all, especially since I need to team build. And everyone that's also, if you're still here right now, you know, congrats, a little more content for you as I just talk about whatever. If you're a member, you know one of my favorite things to do is team building time. Where I will just decide, hey, I need videos, I need teams to record with, let's build. And you just get to see my thought process on building. It's a whole lot of me going, huh, this team looks okay. Oh wait, I lose to this, so let me make this random change. Yeah, there we go. It's a lot of that. So if that interests you, man, hey, appreciate you joining around. Thanks for watching though. Catch y'all next time. Peace.